Hand side, Joe Newell and Jackson Irvine in the centre of midfield, Jamie Murphy just in front of them, and Martin Boyle and Christian Deutsch up top. And for Motherwell, it's the same starting 11 that got that draw at St Mirren during the week. Much needed draw with Kelly in goals, back four of O'Donnell, Magloire, Lammy and Carroll, midfield Campbell, Crawford and Maguire, and then the front three of Roberts, Cole and Watt.
Motherwell, without a win in the last three, haven't scored in the last two, but of course did get that point midweek against St Mirren. We'll head to Kilmarnock shortly. Let's go to Paisley first, though, at St Mirren against Ross County. The team news for that one with Leanne Crichton.
Thanks, Richard. I'll go with the visitors first. A couple of changes from that side that beat Celtic last weekend. Out goes Alex Jakovite and Callum Morris, who doesn't make the squad at all. I think he's got a hamstring injury. So the starting 11 is Ross Laidlaw in goals, Carol Tremarco, Leo Helder, Keith Watson, Jason Naismith. In the midfield, Blair Spittle, Stephen Kelly, Charlie Lacken and Michael Garden, and it's Tony Andrew and Jordan White up top. And for the home side, for St Mirren, the starting 11 is Jack Anick, Joe Shaughnessy, Conor McCarthy, Marcus Fraser, Dylan Conley, he comes in from that midweek change, Jake Doyle-Hayes, Ethan Erahon, Ilkay Durmus, Jamie McGrath and Kyle McAllister and Lee Irwin, also both changes from that midweek draw with Motherwell.
Leanne, thank you. Let's get to Billy Dodds. He is at Rugby Park. It's Kilmarnock against Dundee United at that one. Team news, Billy?
Yeah, huge game for Killie. They've made 5 changes, Richard, to the 1-0 defeat from Aberdeen. Out go Kabamba, Buck, Malumbu and Dabo. In come Medley, Power, Mackenzie, Kilty and Lafferty. They go. Doyle in goal. They're going a back three, Millen, Broadfoot and Medley. Midfield is Mackenzie, Power, Dicker and Houstrup. And up front is Kilty, Pinnock and Lafferty. United, they make 2 changes to the team that was stumped 4-1 by Rangers. Out go Apere and Clark, and in come it's Sporler and McNulty for them. So they'll go a 4-4-2. It's Seagreast, Smith, Edwards, Reynolds, Robson along the back, Butcher, Fuchs, Hark and Harkson, Sporler in midfield, and Shanklin and McNulty up front. And today's referee is David Munro.
Dodgy, thank you. So we've got the guys at all 4 Premiership matches. Will be across the Championship as well. We'll get to those games in a moment or two. Let's, before the action gets up and running, though, hear from a man desperately looking for a goal and a win. The Kilmarnock manager, Tommy Wright, with Kenny Crawford.
Tommy, some exciting team news that Kyle Lafferty makes his first start for the club.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he's going to be a big player for us in these last 8 games. He's trained all week. You know, and he's looked really good. He's brought a real, you know, focal point to the team, I feel, and someone that, you know, I'm expecting big things off over the, you know, the remaining games this season.
Yeah, do you think he feels that almost as a senior player who's come in to try and help that responsibility to have a big impact? Yeah, I mean, and to help himself as well, because he's on a short-term contract. You know, he's at an age where he needs to, I think, you know, settle down and play somewhere for, you know, for the next couple of seasons, and, you know, stop having that sort of nomad existence where he keeps moving. So he's still got international ambitions as well, so there's games coming up in that, so that's going to be important for him. But I think his focus will be just to do well, you know, for Kilmarnock and himself. Yeah, and Zach Medley coming in as well, a big game for him to show you what he can do here on loan. Yeah, I mean, he's done well. He was unfortunate to be left out at Aberdeen last week. I just went with the more experienced in Cleveland. Unfortunately, Cleveland got injured, but Zach came on and had a really good game. And I've been really impressed with him since I've come to the club. I was watching your midweek press conference, and the 2 things you were kind of stressing were A, to be positive and upbeat, and B, to be more clinical. Confident going into today, you'll achieve that. Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, it'll be up to the players to implement that. But, I mean, there's when you're in the situation you're in, you know, the tendency, I don't think it's, you know, a severe lack of confidence because our approach play, but just in certain areas of the pitch, we haven't done well enough. And, you know, we've got to look at the top end of the pitch and be more creative with the good areas that we've got into, you know, in the Rangers game, we didn't really have much of a tackle threat, but certainly against Motherwell and Aberdeen, we should be coming away with points.
Kilmarnock, of course, with 8 straight defeats. It's a horrendous run for them. Only the Dundee team of 18-19 have had a worse run in the Premiership. That was 10 successive defeats for them. You go back to the SPL days, there were a couple, in fact 3 or 4 teams who have been worse than that. Partick Thistle and Aberdeen both went 10 straight defeats. Livingston back in 2005, 2006 lost 13 in a row, so Killie are some way short of that, but they need to find the net again. There was so much talk about Aberdeen and the fact that until that goal last week they had gone 573 minutes without scoring. Killie haven't scored in their last 508 minutes. It's 5 without scoring for them. Those 8 straight defeats, desperate to get things up and running. Of course, Tommy being in charge for 3 matches, they've all resulted in 1-0 defeats. So he will be looking for a change in fortune. Killie desperate to get something as they sit right now only, well, they're in 11th position, but only off the bottom on goal difference ahead of Hamilton. 4 matches in the Premiership. We've got those matches across the Championship as well. All the action is coming up live.
Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
So if you want to hear full live commentary from Celtic Park, that'll be on digital, 810 medium wave and online. Open All Mics is on BBC Sounds, 92 to 95 FM. Also online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland.
On digital radio,
FM,
medium wave
and online.
The most comprehensive coverage of Scottish football. Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
So it's Celtic against Aberdeen, Hibernian, Motherwell, Kilmarnock, Dundee United, Simmer and Ross County, all here on Open All Mics. We're across the Championship as well. I'll keep you up to date on Ayr United against Arbroath at Somerset Park. Let's go to Palmerston. It's Queen of the South against Dunfermline there. Sandra Brown.
Yes, we're just waiting on the teams coming out here, Richard, but it's a beautiful sunny day in Dumfries and I'm looking forward to this one. I think it'll be right cracker. Second against fourth in the Championship. Queen's, of course, on a terrific run. Dunfermline's away record not been so great of late, so it should be of interest. But one change by Alan Johnson to the side that won at Dundee last week. Naughty is out. He has been replaced by Rhys McCabe, and there's 4 changes by Stevie Crawford for Dunfermline. Out go Josh Edwards, Ewan Murray, along with Ian Wilson and Scott Banks, who both drop onto the bench. So into the starting 11 come Kyle MacDonald, Stephen Whittaker, Dom Thomas and Keir McInroy. So I'm expecting Queens to stick with a similar formation of late, with Ferguson in goal, a back 4 of Gibson, Buchanan, Breen and Maxwell, with McCabe and Obalai in front of that, with Jones, McGrory and East there's 3 in front of them, and Nia Joseph up front on his own. Dunfermline expecting it to be Williams in goal, a back 4 of MacDonald, Watson, Mayo and Edwards, Whittaker as the sitter, and then Thomas, McInroy and Murray, with Whiten supported by McManus up front. And the referee for this one here in Dumfries is Mike Ron Cohn. So it should be a good afternoon here in Dumfries.
It's been a remarkable run by Queen of the South after that horrible spell. 4 defeats in the row, just 1 loss in the past 9 as they have surged up the table, taking on a Dunfermline side that have been a bit inconsistent, but have got a couple of wins at least in their last 3 matches. They are heavily involved and they will be looking at the table thinking, if we can win our games in hand, we may yet put pressure on Hearts. Raith Rovers also very much in the mix. They're playing Alloa Athletic this afternoon. The team news there from Heather Dewar.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good afternoon to you all from, again, a nice sunny Starks Park today. Third against bottom here as John McGlynn's side continue to push for that all-important playoff pace. Just 3 points at the moment behind Dunfermline in second as it stands. Hearts now, of course, 12 points clear of the Pars at the top. So in terms of team news today, quite a few changes actually for Raith Rovers. There's 3 of them from the side that lost to Arbroath last week, with Ugru, Tate and Gullen on the bench, and Spencer, Matthews and Dooku all starting. For Alloa, meanwhile, no changes for them from the side that drew with Inverness on Tuesday, so they look like this. For Raith Rovers, in goals is Jamie McDonald, then it's Regan Tumulty, Kieran McDonald, Ian Davidson, Carl Benedictus, Dan Armstrong, Regan Hendry, Manny Dooku, Ross Matthews, Brad Spencer and Kai Kennedy. And on the bench for them, it's Robbie Thompson, Fernandi Mendy, Jamie Gullen, Frankie Masonda, Dylan Tate and Gozi Ugru, and Adam King too. And for Alloa today, Neil Parry Dundee starts in goal as usual. Then it's Scott Taggart, Andy Graham, Liam Dick, John Robertson, Stephen Skugel, Ray Grant, Alan Troughton, Kevin Cawley, Stephen Hetherington and Innes Cameron. And on the bench for them, it's Jordan Wright, Liam Buchanan, Nicky Jameson, Robert Thompson, Blair Malcolm, Lee Connolly and Innes Murray. And today's referee is Stephen Kirkland. We are underway already and it's currently goalless.
Radio, thank you to Heather. Our other open all micer this afternoon is Derek Ferguson. He's at Capello for Morton against Dundee.
Yes, Richard, we've got a yellow card already here at Capello. It's not for any of the players, it's for James McPake in the Dundee dugout. I'll give you the teams very quickly as we've been going for about 2-3 minutes. Richard, it's for Morton, McAdams in goals. Back four of Ledger, McLean, McGinty and Strapp. The two holding midfielders for Morton is Jacobs in blues, with McGuffey, Nisbet and Colville supporting Salkhead up the top. On the bench for the Tun is Fjortoft, Muirhead, Oliver, Orsay, Lyne, Sterling and Johnson. For Dundee, they go, it's a 4-3-3 formation. Hamilton in goals, a back four of Elliott, Fontaine, Ashcroft and Marshall. A midfield three of McGowan, Byrne and Roberts. And they go with up top, they go with McMullen, So and Cummings. On the bench for Dundee is Lesdens, Kerr, Fagan Walcott, Mullen, McDade, Afalobi and Anderson. And the referee here that's just produced that yellow card is Craig Napier.
Okay, Derek, thank you. Derek Ferguson for Morton Dundee. Heather's at Wraith Rovers, Alva, Sandra, Queen of the South against Dunfermline, and then we are across the Championship, across the Premiership rather, as well. Remember, live commentary from Celtic Park at Celtic against Aberdeen again. That's currently on digital, 810 Media Wave and online. Willie Miller is looking after it here on Sportside Open All Mics. How have the early stages looked, Willie?
Well, Celtic had a lot of possession the first few minutes, but Aberdeen have now won a corner, so they've been far more aggressive in the early exchanges. There hasn't been any chances as yet, but Neil McGinn, who delivered that set piece for the goal that Aberdeen scored against Kilmarnock, won the corner, and he's going to take it. So it's early pressure for Aberdeen, although it is 0-0 just now. It's a header towards, and it comes off the crossbar. It's Ash Taylor that strikes it towards the crossbar with his head from the corner. Well flighted corner there from Niall McGinn. Again down to the byline, little dink cross in, and up he goes again, and it's a magnificent save. It's Ash Taylor again with a header. Scott Bain touching it over the bar. Really good save from the Celtic goalkeeper. Good pressure play. Ash Taylor is the man. Two headers off the bar, and then pulling a magnificent save from Scott Bain in the early exchanges here at Celtic Park, but it's still 0-0.
Well, it sounds like an unusually positive start for Aberdeen at Celtic Park. Quite often they're sitting in when they go there and then look to pick off Celtic, but by the sound of things, they have taken the game to Celtic in the early stages. James McFadden is our VAR this afternoon. You're watching on. Aberdeen coming close, James?
Yeah, they have. They have had early pressure, and obviously those couple of chances with Ash Taylor from cross balls. And I know Celtic have had possession, but Aberdeen have tried to press them and started really, really well. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
I'm just thinking, if they have they been working on their set pieces during the week?
Absolutely.
It's the one thing I was thinking about listening to the boys chatting pre-match, Rich, about what will John Kennedy do with the set piece situation. Will he keep it the same because it has been their Achilles heel all season, or will he, now that he's got his own stamp on it, and you've seen that he's brought Kamala into the team today, just wonder what he'll do defensively if he changes their setup at all?
No, but
he's got to have had a major role to play in what they've been doing defensively, surely.
But, yeah, absolutely. It'd be like admitting your mistakes. I know that, but there's one thing I do know as well: it's not working.
Well, here it is, Dodgy, right? It's his first role as interim manager, and Aberdeen, who is their biggest player, outfield player? Ash Taylor. Within the first 5 minutes, and the first set piece, Ash Taylor's had two clear headers at goal, one off the bar and one behind.
It was the same with Jordan White.
It's incredible.
That's exactly the same, but it's a semi-zonal, so you either go man for man, and I know you pick up the biggest one, or if it's semi-zonal, you actually bin it because it's not worked all season, and that's what will be going through his head.
It's not working.
Well, there you go. Aberdeen causing one or two issues for Celtic central defence, of course, that has been under the microscope for a large part of the season. Still goalless despite those chances for the visitors. To Easter Road then, Hibernian against Motherwell. The early stages there, Michael.
Hibs have started brightly, Richard. They've been popping the ball about really quite well, but there's been no...
it's a goal to Celtic, Edward. He's been working on forward play, not defending. Edward, it takes a wicked deflection though. Edward, the edge of the box. Far too much room though. He's 20 yards out. It's a pass in from the right hand side. He takes a touch, he pulls the trigger, it comes off. Not sure if it was Hoban or Taylor. It may have been Ash Taylor again involved, but it takes a wicked deflection. Joe Lewis goes to his right hand side, anticipating that's where the ball is going. That deflection takes it to his left, and it rolls over the line to give Celtic an early lead here at Celtic Park.
It's a 21st goal of the season for Odsonne Edouard. It's ended. He had this drought that lasted 2 matches, having scored in 6 successive Premiership games prior to that. But he's got lucky there with a deflection. By the sound of things, it's a 62nd goal in the Premiership for the Frenchman. Only Adam Rooney and Lee Griffiths have scored more goals in the Premiership since it began some 8 years ago. James, you've been watching on. Did they get lucky?
Yeah, they get lucky with the finish, but you look at the run of Klimala, he's looking to go beyond. It's not, it is quite, close to goal, the first pass, but when he runs in behind, it allows Edouard to come into that space that Klimala's kind of vacated, and it allows for an easier pass in. It is a firm pass, and they do get a bit of luck with the finish, but they work it well to get Edouard into that space, and maybe that's, the impact, although he hasn't touched the ball, but the fact that he's willing to run in behind Klimala to generate that space for Edouard to go and get it to feet. So maybe that's, well, he's right, they have been working on attacking play and how they can work more as a partnership to get space for Edouard to come to feet.
1-0 it is for Celtic. It's exactly the start that John Kennedy would have been hoping for, and exactly what Dermot McInnes, of course, would have been keen to avoid. It sounded like a positive start for Aberdeen with those 2 early headers, one hitting the woodwork, one producing a great save from Scott Bain, and then Celtic go up the park and score almost immediately. Edouard again on target, 21 for the season. Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0. Michael, you were cut off by news of the goal.
Yeah, I was just saying that Hibs had started the game brightly. They were popping the ball about and playing some nice football, some good interchange, but there hadn't been any attempts on goal. Just in the last minute or so there from when we were going to Celtic Park with a goal, Motherwell have just got themselves up the park a little bit. There was a couple of balls into the box, but like Hibs, they've not been able to work the goalkeeper yet. But we've only just gone 10 minutes in the game, and it's still 0-0.
Goalless it is. Hibernian against Motherwell. Hibs, remember, on this fantastic run right now, 4 straight wins. Martin Boyle scoring in all 4 matches, and they are looking to get another victory this afternoon that would take them ever closer to clinching that 3rd place finish. No such thoughts for Kilmarnock and Dundee United. Killie, of course, in particular, in serious trouble down near the bottom of the table. How have the early stages there been, Billy?
Killie started pretty well in the first few minutes and getting a lot of the ball, first 5 minutes or so, and knocking about, got into good positions. Final ball let them down, which has been happening the last few weeks, but Dundee United got the first chance. It was just a nice through ball from Spurler, and it found Lawrence Shankly. He was at the angle. I thought he should have done better, and he just hit it weakly into the side net, so they've had the only chance. But Skilly, as they've been doing the last couple of weeks, have been showing better signs, but need a cutting edge, Richard.
Well, they certainly do need to find a way to goal somehow. Leanne, meantime, in Paisley. It's St Mirren against Ross County. Big one there for you, Leanne.
Yeah, just a corner here. Richard forward.
I think we've got a bit of an issue with Leanne's microphone. I don't know if she picked up the wrong microphone or if she's got the wrong one switched on, but we'll get that sorted.
Richard, because St Mirren had a great chance early on. Dylan Connolly clean through. They've obviously got a tactic where they're just going to play him, run at the Ross County defence. He was clean through. He really should have scored. Great run, timed to perfection, but the ball maybe just bounced a little bit. He should have scored at that point. It's still 0-0 at the moment. I think Leanne was trying to tell us St Mirren had a corner, which indeed they did, but it came to nothing. So it's still 0-0 in Paisley.
Okay, in West Bromwich, Albion have gone 1-0 up against Brighton. That's a big game, isn't it, in the English Premier League? Early goal from Kyle Bartley to put the home side in front in that one. It's his 3rd of the season at the start of play West Bromwich Albion in second bottom and some way adrift of
Penalty
safety
in
Brighton.
Dumfries, Richard.
Oh, let's go to Sandra.
We have a penalty and it's for the visitors, Dunfermline. I'm not quite sure what it was. Nobody in the stadium seems to know what the penalty's been given for, but the referee has pointed to the spot, and Declan McManus is the man who has it sitting ready to hit in a second or two. But Dunfermline have certainly made the better start to this game. They've been pushing forward. Queens have been defending well and limiting their chances in front of goal so far. But as I say, Declan McManus is up against Rowan Ferguson. He's taken it with his right foot, and Rowan Ferguson has saved. It's a save here in Dumfries. Rowan Ferguson saves Declan McManus's penalty to make it still Queen of the South 0, Dunfermline 0.
Well, that'll be a real frustration for Dunfermline, but excellent for Queen of the South and their hopes to try to continue the run that they've been on. Still goalless in that one, and Dunfermline spurning the opportunity to go in front.
Shot. Oh, good save. Turnbull shot there for Celtic. Good build-up play, Edward, setting him in. He goes by the Aberdeen defence into the box, onto his left foot, pulls the trigger. Joe Lewis down to his right-hand side, gets a good firm
we've
hand
got a
on
goal
it, puts
here.
it past.
We've got a goal here for Alva. Yeah, absolutely lovely shot. Just trying to see who that was. I think it was Innes Cameron, but I'll clarify that for you. But they have been absolutely piling on the pressure. I mean, unbelievable, Richard, to think that they are so far apart. Yeah, it was Innes Cameron, just good stuff. But in terms of the league positions, you look at Wraith Rovers, they're sitting third, Alloa sitting bottom. But we've been saying this quite a lot all season, haven't we? That where they are really says nothing about them in terms of the spirit and the fight that they put into every single game. So yeah, it was a lovely run down the right-hand side of the pitch, cross into Cameron, to dink home from close range. But they also had the first shot actually from John Robertson. It wasn't really a chance, to be frank. It was a tight angled shot that Jamie McDonald picked up with no problem at all. Ross Matthews just a few minutes later came back with a lovely close range effort that was blocked by Parry. Innes Cameron came in again for the visitors with a shot from around 20 yards out. So yeah, he's looking good today and seems to be really fitting into the sides here. So it's Wraith Rovers 0, Alloa 1.
Innes Cameron with his third goal of the season. That's just the second goal of the afternoon. The first scored, of course, by Odson Edouard to give Celtic the lead against Aberdeen. Last night in the Championship, Cali Thistle 1, Hearts 1. Miles Story with the opener, Liam Boyce with the equaliser in the 13th minute. It's still goalless here, Arbroath Morton against Dundee and Queen of the South Dunfermline, but Declan McManus having his penalty saved by Rowan Ferguson in the 12th minute of that one. Let's get, where have we been? Well, let's try again for Leanne then. She is in Paisley. Chick is in the studio and tried to muscle in your territory there, Leanne, but I think we've got your microphone working again.
Can you hear me now, Richard?
We can indeed.
Wonderful.
No, can't hear.
We've got a dangerous free kick actually here for St Mirren, just in the edge of the box. It's over the bar. Oh no, it's back in. Hold on. No, it came to nothing. Yeah, it's been a slow start, to be fair, Richard. It's a couple of half chances, I would say, for St Mirren. They've started with a real intensity. I think they've caught on to the fact that John Hughes' side build out from the back. You know, they try and play that nice expansive football. So all you can hear is Jim Goodwin screaming at the side of the pitch for his players to go and press, really looking for Lee Irwin and Kyle McAllister and Jamie McGrath to go and press the ball. With a half chance for Dylan Conley after 7 minutes, but it bobbled up just as he went to let go with the left foot, and it went high and wide. But other than that, nothing really to report. But certainly an interesting fixture and two teams that are both looking to pick up maximum points.
So still goalless in that one now.
What an effort that is from Kyle Lafferty. It's smashed the crossbar. It's poor from McNulty. United a throw-in, Rich, just halfway up in their own half. Threw it to McNulty. He gave it away to Lafferty, who just opened out, bent an absolute beauty. Faddy, I don't know if you see this, from about 22 yards, and it's beaten. Seagreased all ends up, but smashed off the crossbar. Just Kelly's luck.
No, it was great effort again. Mark McNulty, I don't know what he's trying to do, but he passes it right to Kyle Lafferty, and he's got one thought in his mind. As soon as it comes to him, he wants to get his shot away. As you say, it's a brilliant effort. Goalkeeper absolutely no chance, and just crashes right back off the bar.
I think that was one of these ones you say, what on earth, what you do think they're shooting for there? Although I think I once said that about you in Paris one night.
No, he didn't have much support. The only other thing he can do is try and beat the 2 or 3 men in front of him. I think it's a good effort, and he's really unlucky.
That scoreline I was giving you in England in the Premier League: West Brom 1, Brighton 0. Bartley in the 11th minute. West Brom in serious relegation trouble. Brighton currently clear, but certainly could do with another couple of wins. They're 4 points clear of third bottom. Fulham, still a fair chunk of that season to go, of course. For most of these teams, 13 matches remain. Earlier,
it was goal! Deflected. I'm sure it's Spurler that scored that, but Dundee United have gone up the pitch, and I think it was McNulty who had the ball. You can correct me with that one, Faddy. No, it was Harps who just rolled it to him. He hit a kind of culling effort and just deflected and wrong-footed Colin Doyle in the Kilmarnock goal, and it just trundles in. It's now, well, it is Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1.
Big chance here at Easter Road. I didn't want to interrupt Dodgy there because it didn't end up in the back of the net, but Tony Watt has had a shot from edge of the 6-yard box and he's hit the side net, and a huge opportunity. I think he, maybe if Faddy sees it again, I wasn't 100% sure whether it was a foul on the defender. There was a coming together. It broke for Tony Watt in behind. He took control of the ball and he shoots with his left foot and hits the side net, and a real big chance missed for the Well, and they're in again. But Marciano's out and smothers it. Still 0-0.
Right, one at a time.
That could have been a big moment for Motherwell. Still goalless in that one. James, first of all, the goal. You go along with Dodsy's version of that.
Yeah, really poor from Kilmarnock. Slack in the middle of the pitch, but as soon as Dundee United get the ball, they attack with real speed. And when it comes back to Spurler, it's a double deflection actually that takes it by the goalkeeper. But really, good counter-attack from Dundee United, good pressure. And you need that little bit of luck as well sometimes. And the Motherwell one, it wasn't a foul. Tony Watt goes, I think he controls the ball. I don't know if there's much contact, and when it gets to him, he hits it near post. He should try and flash it across the goalkeeper, but it was a brilliant chance for Tony Watt.
Well, Kilmarnock trailing again. I mentioned there this run that they've been on, 3 successive 1-0 defeats for Tommy Wright as Motherwell manager. Haven't scored in the last 5 all told. It's 8 successive defeats, and I guess quite clearly the longer this goes, the more you begin to fear for the Rugby Park outfit. They are 12 goals better off than Hamilton, but both
it's a great
sides
ball. Oh, he puts it by the post. Magnificent ball in there from Kenny towards the back post. And it is Klimala who's drifted in there. He's sliding. I think he's got to put that. He's got to finish it. I think he's got to end up in the back of the net. He's stretching a little bit. Seems to come off his instep and go by the post. Doesn't hit the target. Big chance for Celtic. And it wasn't taken.
It does sound, Willie, as if the flow of play has perhaps changed from the opening 2 or 3 minutes.
It has, Richard. Celtic playing well. They're moving the ball about very quickly, sharply, crisply, and the two up front are working extremely well. With Klimala making the runs in behind and Edouard coming off, and Aberdeen are struggling to cope with them.
And is it that man-to-man marking approach?
It is a bit, Richard. It's not as stern as it was in the first game or the game 10 days ago. But you've got Ash Taylor coming away out, to pick up David Turnbull, which I find extremely strange. He's playing in the back three, but he's leaving that central defensive three to come into a midfield area to try and pick up Turnbull. So there is elements of it, but it's not exactly the same as what it was 10 days ago.
It is Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0. It's Alton Edouard who scored for the 21st time this season. It's still Hibernian 0, Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1. A double deflection, James tells us, on that effort from Adrian Sporla, which ultimately beat Colin Doyle in the home goal. And it's still St Mirren 0, Ross County 0. We have 1 goal in the Championship. It came at Kirkcaldy. Alva Athletic are ahead against Wraith Rovers. Innes Cameron.
Oh, they're in again. Oh, he misses it. Big chance there. Again down the left-hand side. Laxalt going down the left. Cuts it back for Edouard, who's a fresh air swipe at it. It's a really good chance for him, but he missed. Cues it completely. Celtic really piling on the pressure here in the East End of Glasgow. And it's still 1-0, but they've had a number of chances, and that certainly was one. It was an unusual sight, seeing Edouard having a fresh air swipe at a cutback. He should have done much better.
Motherwell have really started to come into the game here at Easter Road the last 10 minutes. Devante Cole's running through again. A strike has been blocked, but it deflects, and it's Hibs are going to clear the lines here, but they just had an opportunity a couple of minutes ago. The ball got slipped through for Alan Campbell. He looked as if he was going to get a strike on goal, and Darren McGregor comes across with a great sliding tackle to block the shot. You know, we've spoken about Darren McGregor in the last few weeks. He's the best defender I think Hibs have got. He's, you know, instinctively thinks defensively first and foremost, and that was a great example of it. He read the danger, got across, got the blocking, and the strike never even troubles Marciano. But Motherwell playing with that front three, they're very narrow, as they have been under Graham Alexander a lot of the games, and it's almost 3 for 3. And then they've got some midfield runners that are exploiting those gaps as well. In the last 10 minutes or so, Motherwell have definitely started to get a wee foothold in this game.
It sounds, I mean, he did talk midweek about the fact he saw much that pleased him in that game, the 0-0 draw against St Mirren. And basically, it sounds as if they've regained, perhaps, Michael, a bit of confidence after those 2 thumpings they had at the hands of Hamilton and St Johnstone.
Well, they're looking all right here, and I don't think there's any question. You're going to St Mirren and getting that 0-0 was a much needed result, because, as you've just said there, the 2 drubbings they got at home was clearly going to dent their confidence big time. And you know, I think in the grand scheme of things, everybody recognised before, when Graham Alexander had come in, the first run of fixtures and games, they were looking okay. They were looking all right. You know, looked as if there was an identity to what he was trying to do, and then those 2 games really did derail them. Mind you, they were missing a lot of players, you know, in those games, in particular that one against St Johnstone. I think there was quite a few teams, not quite a few teams, there was quite a few players missing, but Jordan Roberts is through, he's on goal, he's in behind. 1-0 to Motherwell. 1-0 to Motherwell. Jordan Roberts, ball in behind. Paul Hanlon couldn't get in contact with him, and he slips it into the back of the net, makes it 1-0 for the men from Lanarkshire.
Well, I think a lot of people saw that signing as something of a surprise. Jordan Roberts didn't exactly he hasn't made much of an impact generally across Scottish football, but what an impact he has made this afternoon. James McFadden, there will be a smile in the face of anyone who has Motherwell close to their hearts.
Absolutely. Hopefully it stays like this so that my wee boy's got a smile on his face as well, Richard. But Michael was speaking about the front three in Motherwell, and it's really difficult to deal with if they get it right, because they're fluid. They're not just stuck in the one position, and that one is great. Tony Watt's on the right, Jordan Roberts comes across the face of Devante Cole. It's a great ball, a great run, and he keeps his composure to slot it away as well. And they have really, bounced back from those 2 defeats, and it started from hard work. That's what was missing in the games against Hamilton and St Johnstone. St Mirren, they grew into the game, their confidence, you could see it building as the game went on. And they've started really well here today, and they'll take a lot of confidence from that as well. Jordan Roberts, you're right. I mean, he was one of the players that you could notice the difference in his confidence as the game wore on against St Mirren. They get more and more involved in it, and that's a great start for him as well today.
Well, Aberdeen there with back-to-back clean sheets. Remember, 4 successive victories with Martin Boyle scoring in each of those, but they are trailing to Motherwell. Jordan Roberts with his first for his new club. Dundee United 1-0 up at Rugby Park. Adrian Sporler with a goal there. Billy Dodds, what's happening now?
Kilmarnock are still forcing the play. They are knocking it about, as I said, and getting into good wide areas, and a couple of decent crosses have come in the box. They're threatening, Richard. It's a bit like a game I watched earlier in the season here, when it was actually the opposite, where Dundee United dominated and Kilmarnock ended up winning at 4-0. Today Kilmarnock are dominating and United are winning 1-0. So United are defending pretty well, you have to say, but Kilmarnock has been typical in the last few weeks. Just can't make anything count in that final third as yet.
Leanne, St Mirren have been on what I guess is a bit of a frustrating run for Jim Goodwin. It's a season record of 4 straight draws for them, maybe not scoring as many goals as you would like again Right now, still a stalemate against Ross County.
Still a stalemate, Richard, but an enjoyable game all the same. You know, not one of these games that you're sitting waiting for half time to come around. Both sides really trying to play the game and play it in the right manner. Two managers on the touchlines, heavily involved. You know, emotions are high, directing their team as well as they can. St Mirren have had a couple of half chances, you know, but the most recent was a shot from distance. Never troubled Ross Laidlaw in the Ross County goal. But it's nice to see, you know, this Ross County side under John Hughes. They just look so confident in what they're doing, Richard. Really, as I mentioned earlier, building out from the back, trying to get the ball forward then as quickly as they can. But St Mirren are robust and compact. You know, they do very well at that. They are on a frustrating run all the same. Too many draws for Jim Goodwin's liking, and he'll be hoping that can change today. But as it stands, it's still St Mirren 0, Ross County 0.
It's the end of the goal scorer here at Rugby Park, Richard. Adrian Spoller's had to go off, picked up a leg knock. Don't know what's the matter with him, but Louis Apare has had to come on the pitch now.
Billy, thank you. It is 1-0 for United. Spoiler getting that goal now. Sadly, for him having to leave the field of play. My goodness, that was some reaction by one of the coaching staff somewhere.
A bit of controversy here, Richard, just that St Mirren is a really poor challenge by Carol Tremarco on Jamie McGrath down in the right hand side. It's on Dylan Conley. A really poor challenge. I don't know if Faddy can get a second look at this. He looks in an awful lot of pain.
It's just coming now, Leanne.
Carol Tremarco, he even stayed down on the ground. I think, you know, having a second thought to himself that it could have been red, but referee Greg Aitken's shown him a yellow. It looked a nasty one. He's slightly late. He looks to me as if he's going over the ball, maybe possibly even above the ankle. A really poor challenge, and now a dangerous free kick for St Mirren here in the right hand side.
It came back in, Leanne, but it was a poor angle, but it's coming back up again. I have to say, I don't think Tremarco, he's got eyes for the ball. He's late, but nah, it's not a red card for me.
No, okay.
Okay, incidentally, there was one challenge last night. I watched you guys last night in action up in Inverness. There was a challenge by Stephen Kingsley that was a yellow card. There wasn't much made of it last night. Was it verging on red card territory?
Who are you asking?
Ask Faddy.
He's
getting plenty to say about
Leanne says, I'll disagree with.
He asked me last night. He's just trying to prove his point, Faddy. He thinks it was a red.
I'm just curious.
Get out there, like you thought it was a red, though.
That's an unbelievable save in the St Mirren game, Leanne, isn't it? Ross Laidlaw.
Well done, Chick. Cheers.
Aye, deflect away for that. It wasn't. I was trying to hang Faddy out to dry there, though, Chick. Sorry, but it was a Conor McCarthy header and an unbelievable save, as you say, and put it out for a corner. Definitely the best chance of the game. But Faddy, come on, tell us, what did you think last night?
It wasn't a red card for me.
I don't think it was.
I said it.
I was only 5 yards away from it.
Yeah.
Right, and Leanne, did you think it was?
No, I agree with Faddy. He just likes to disagree with me, Richard.
Okay, look, I was by no means convinced, but my reaction at the time was, oof, that might have been a red.
Might have been.
And I was just interested to hear what you guys had to say.
Yeah, there was a couple of decisions last night, Richard, I would need to say that we did debate as the game went on, because the referee last night was Nick Walsh, and you know, he sent off Peter Pollitt for Dundee United several weeks ago, and I personally didn't think that was a red card. You know, so you wonder at times what the differences are that the referees are seeing. And then there was a challenge late on last night that I thought was a stonewall foul. You know, and again, Nick Walsh played on, so you can debate it. That's the beauty of football, and certainly me and Faddy quite enjoy an opinion when we cover these championship games.
Yeah, and actually a bit of debate about Hearts as well. It's interesting, isn't it? Again, you know, I'm really quite disappointed in their overall performance last night. They are 12 points clear, but they're firmly with a couple of games in hand now. I don't think any of us anticipate anything other than Hearts going on and taking that title. But I'm sure the Hearts fans would like to see a bit more from their team.
Yeah, I think so. It's clear they do want to see more from their team, and quite rightly so. You know, every week we speak about Hearts. They're the best team in the league. There's no doubt about that. And Craig Gordon says he's fed up hearing it. But they are. You know, it doesn't matter if he's fed up hearing it. They are the best team in the league. They should be playing better than what they are. But I still think they'll have enough to win the league comfortably. But you can't blame the fans. They want more. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And I'm sure Robbie Nielsen wants more, because he won't be happy watching games and having to stand there and say, you know, they got what they deserved out the game, they didn't do enough to win it. That must be a frustrating thing. But the players have to step up. They have to be better.
You would think Faddy being 12 points ahead or 11 points going into that game last night might free them up a little bit to go and enjoy it and really get the ball down and use that width, because they have wingers but they're not getting enough out of them. They've got good players to keep the ball and dominate games. They're not really doing that in the last 3 games. I think that's a frustrating thing for Heart fans, Richard, where they would expect them being so far ahead. Look, go and really enjoy yourself and put on a show
instead of kind of limping towards it. I don't know if it's complacency of the players, that they know they're so far ahead, they know they're going to win the league, and maybe, you know, they think they can just turn up and win the games, but it's not like that.
Also, Faddy, like you say though, these teams all raise their game for Hearts because it is a huge game for them, you know, so you see that, you do see a different side to the opposition more often than not, but certainly the performance levels, you know, Hearts are probably fortunate enough in the sense that the fans haven't been at a lot of the games, because I don't think they would tolerate it, you know, they only hear virtually what the supporters think just now, but it would be a different story if the fans were there.
I think they'll win it, but it'd be interesting if Dunfermline managed to get it to 6.
The big difference,
exactly.
is the thing with Hearts is, for me, is they've not got enough legs in the team. That's it. There's not enough energy. You know, we can talk about complacency, we can talk about, you know, thinking that the league's going to be over, or, you know, it's too easy for them. For me, it's none of that. I just don't think they've got enough legs and energy in the side. They've got a lot of experience, but there's not a lot of youth. And I think they've got to, you know, when they're coming up to the Premiership next season, that is the one thing that is crying out now. They desperately needed width in the side. You know, it was an imbalanced team before. Robbie's gone out and, you know, tried to bring in a number of wide players. What they need to do now is they need to get legs in the side.
I struggle at times, Michael, to actually see what the identity of their play is.
Well, because I don't
they sit with 2 sitting midfielders as well a lot of the time behind the ball, and I don't think Hearts need that against the opposition that they play against.
Because I just don't think the balance is right in regards to they've not got enough legs. They've not got enough, you know, energy in the side. There's a chance here for, it's offside, it's flagged offside. Hibs had a chance there, but, you know, looking at Hearts, crying out for energy. You look at the teams that have done well against Hearts, and I go right back to the first game that they got beaten by Dunfermline. They ran over the top of Hearts. Hearts never got going. Dunfermline absolutely ran them off the park. That's the big problem.
I can't disagree with you, Mike, and that's why three different formations last night. Chance for Kilmarnock, 2 good saves. Oh, it's a free kick that comes in from Lafferty, bouncing right in front of Seagrease. I think it was it Pinnock, Faddy, that followed it up and hit the shot, and then Seagrease gets himself up and reacts at the near post to turn it round. So Kilmarnock nearly level, though. 2 good efforts. So
yeah, Pinnock following in. I can't see the replay of the save, but it's just coming up just now. Down to Seagrease right hand side. That's a good double save, that.
So it's all going wrong for Kilmarnock. It always seems to be the same, isn't it? When you're down there, things just don't work out your way. Opposition keepers pull off some fantastic saves.
That's a brilliant save, Richard, actually, the second one. Pinnock's got it right in the corner. It's close to Seagrease, but gets up well and reacts really well to it. It's a really good save.
Well, Kilmarnock desperate just to end this barren run. Remember, it was 508 minutes at start of play, and in fact, if they go deep into the second half, they will go past that record that Aberdeen set last week of 573 minutes without scoring a goal. Killie with 8 straight defeats and trailing to Dundee United at Rugby Park this afternoon. Brighton will be having, well, let's be honest, they won't be very happy right now. They trailed to a Kyle Bartley goal early on at West Brom. They got a penalty which Pascal Gross missed. They then scored through Lewis Dunk, but it's now been ruled out by VAR, so they're still trailing by 1-0, and they're one of the sides who might just be in the sights of Fulham, who, with decent results of late, have moved on to 22. It's Newcastle on 25 and Brighton on 26. West Brom in front. They're still, 11 points adrift of safety. You can't see them pulling that back. And Sheffield United clearly look destined to return to the Championship after just a couple of seasons. It's the only game that's going ahead this afternoon at 3 o'clock in England. West Brom 1, Brighton 0. Manchester City earlier beat West Ham by 2-1. Ruben Diaz with the opener, Mikel Antonio just before half-time, 7th of the season. But John Stones, the other defender, with his 4th of the season in what I gather was a man of the match performance by him. Man City beating West Ham by 2-1. In the Championship this afternoon, we got a goal earlier from Kirkcaldy, Wraith Rovers 0, Alloa Athletic 1. Heather, Alloa deserving of that advantage?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just about to say, we just had a bit of a sitter missed by Manny Diku there, of course, Wraith Rovers' top scorer of the season so far. But yeah, lovely long ball came right through from the right-hand side of the pitch, through the middle of the box from Tumulty. He picked it up nicely, but yeah, unfortunately, he just passed the ball at very close range to the left of the post. So great opportunity for Wraith Rovers there to level proceedings. But no, as it stands,
I'm just going to interrupt you, Heather, because I think Billy, did you have something coming up there?
There's been a yellow card. Fad, you can tell me about it. Kelty's been booked for diving. He wanted a penalty. He goes into the box, lobs it over the defender, and he goes to ground. I don't think it's a dive, but I don't think it's a penalty, but I don't think it's a dive either. It looks as if there was a bit of contact, but Fad, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a harsh yellow card, maybe Kelty for me.
Yeah, Kelty's lifted it over. Mark Reynolds has come in and it's been a tangle of legs. I'm not sure. I can't see it clearly, but it's not a dive for me. I think the decision is whether it's a penalty or not, but it's certainly not a dive.
Referee David Monroe gives out the yellow, and it was a reaction to Kilmarnock players, and I can understand why. You don't want to be tainted with that, and he was a wee bit unlucky because he lobbed it over the defender. Was a bit of contact.
There is contact, definitely. Definitely.
Is there enough contact, James, that it should indeed have been a penalty?
Possibly, Richard. I think that Mark Reynolds' leg comes through. It doesn't make an effort to challenge, if that makes sense. And Kelty's leg, they do clash legs, but I think, you know, the decision is whether it's a penalty or not, but it's clearly not a dive.
Yeah, that's the kind of feeling I got, James, when I saw it. Just instinct, and I just thought, oh, that's harsh on him. But, you know, I thought it would have been a soft one as well, because Reynolds was kind of trying to stop and just his two legs were planted, I felt, and then kind of Kelty bumps into him. So there was contact, but not enough to give a penalty. And certainly not a dive for me as well to get him a yellow card, Rich.
Well, another moment that has gone against Kilmarnock as they move towards half-time, and this one still trailing to that Adrian Sporla goal. Let's go to Sandra at Palmerston, still goalless Queens against Dunfermline.
It is indeed, Richard. We played 37 minutes down here in Dumfries, and I have to say, for 30 minutes of that, it's been Dunfermline who have been doing all the pressing forward. They've had Queens pinned back in their own half for pretty much of that, but the last sort of 7-10 minutes or so, Queens are starting to get out a little bit more and pushing forward, but Isaiah Jones is their danger man, and they've had a couple of bookings for Dunfermline by just taking him clean out the game, to be fair. But as I say, Dunfermline are the ones who are pushing forward. The Queens are defending so well at the moment that they're not getting inside those pockets and getting chances on goals. They did have the penalty in 12 minutes that Declan McManus squared up to Rowan Ferguson, and Rowan Ferguson came out the winner by saving it the bottom post to keep it goalless here. Dom Thomas is standing over a corner as we speak at the minute, so another chance for Dunfermline, but so far it's still goalless here in Dumfries.
Derek Ferguson, I think this must be your quietest open all mics ever.
It's a battle, Richard, pure and simple, and in a strange way. I'm kind of mesmerised, but I tell you what, there's not a lot of football. It's not helped with the surface. The surface is terrible, but the players, it's just a case of, you know, get it out your feet at the back, hit the front man. Obviously for Dundee, it's so up top. For Morton, Salkhead, and they're just trying to feed off little second balls. But I'm just waiting for the game to try and settle down. I know we're only about 5 minutes from half time. No signs of it, Richard, but just two teams going at it, hammer and tong, but not a lot of football and chances few and far between.
The other game in the Championship as they move towards half-time as well, it remains Ayr United 0.
Richard, I'll take that back, by the way. What a hit that is. It's McGuffey. It's a long ball. Again, it's been the story of the game, and it's a second ball. McGuffey, the ball just falls edge of the box to the left-hand side. He's got a hell of a lot to do, but he hits it on the volley. Hits it sweetly past the keeper. What a striking. Out of enough. I think it needed to be something special, Richard, because, as I says, both sets of players, certainly in the front areas, I've been just feeding off her scraps, and that was the same for McGuffey there. It's just a ball that's just kind of broke to him, edge of the box, left-hand side. Oh, he struck it beautifully, right on the 18-yard line as well.
Craig McGuffey with his third goal of this season. Morton have been drawing a lot of games of late. Last 8, they've drawn 5 and lost 3. And a third of the season for Craig McGuffey has put them in front. Dundee, of course, well, it's 3 games without a win now going into this one. Of course, back-to-back defeats as well, which have kept them outside the playoff places and allowed Queen of the South, albeit with more games played, to nick in front of them in that challenge. And Dundee trailing again this afternoon in that match at Capello. Morton 1, Dundee 0. Craig McGuffey still. Ayr United 0, Arbroath 0. About 5 minutes to half-time in that one. It's Queen of the South 0, Dunfermline 0. Declan McManus having his penalty saved early on by Rowan Ferguson, and it's still Raith Rovers 0, Alva Athletic 1. 14th minute goal there from Innes Cameron, his third of the season. To the Premiership as
Queen of the South. There was a chance for Queen of the South here. Richard Isaiah Jones, trickery down the left-hand side. He managed to send the great ball across, and Ayo Obalai hit it on the volley just about 7 yards out. And what a save it was from Owen Fawn Williams to keep it goalless. So it's still Queen of the South 0, Dunfermline 0.
Goalless it is in that one. To the Premiership then. An early goal from Odson Edouard Willie has Celtic still in front against Aberdeen.
Yeah, Richard, you know, I'd like to count how many passes Celtic have had in this first half. They've just kept the ball. They keep passing it, they keep moving. Aberdeen can't get into the game at all. The early corner and headers from Ash Taylor is all they've got to show for it. Since then, it's been total domination by Celtic. Scott Brown again running the show, just dropping back into central defence in between these two central defenders, and then popping up in midfield. He's pulling the strings. The 3 in front of him, the movement has been excellent. Edward coming off is causing all sorts of problems for the Aberdeen defence. So the only surprising thing is that it's still only 1-0 here at Celtic Park, but it's a really good performance, in my opinion, from Celtic. I think John Kennedy can be more than happy with the response that he's got from his players this afternoon.
So is it looking more like the Celtic that you have seen for a number of years now?
Very much, Richard, very much. You know, 2 full-backs push forward, 2 centre-backs split. Scott Brown just, he just orchestrates everything from midfield, whether it's going forward or whether it's going back, even behind these 2 centre-backs. He's starting it. Scott Bain has been great coming out and using the ball. They're playing with confidence. They're playing with a lot of self-belief. The movement is excellent. They haven't created enough chances. They've created 2 or 3. I would like to see them creating more chances. Certainly their play would lead you to believe that that will come. Aberdeen need to try and engage with them, need to try and get closer to them, but it's a difficult task for Aberdeen when Celtic are playing in this manner.
Odson Edouard with the deflected effort. 1-0 it is for Celtic. At Easter Road, Michael, it's still 1-0 for Motherwell.
It is indeed. We're just a minute away from half-time. It's still 1-0, although there's a ball over the top. Martin Boyle's onto it. He's facing up the defender. He's in the inside left channel. To be honest, the defence have done well. They've managed to hold them up and snuffed out the attack there. But yeah, it's still 1-0 to Motherwell. There's not really been a great deal of goalmouth action. That wee spell for about 10-15 minutes earlier on in the half where Motherwell really got the upper hand and got the goal. That's been the only moment in the game that's been of any note. Other than that, it's been a little bit of cat and mouse and cancelling each other out, to be honest.
Half-time, Richard. Morton 1, Dundee.
Well, it was a triplety from Craig McGuffey that Derek Ian, just as he was bemoaning the fact there had been no quality. McGuffey fired Morton in front. That's the first half-time confirmed from around the country. We'll just wait for the whistles to go at the various other matches. Doddsy, Dundee United still in front heading towards half-time there.
They are, and they've been up the park twice and scored once. The early chance from Lawrence Shankland at the side net, and then they get the deflected goal. But it's been Kilmarnock who have dominated the first half, Richard, in terms of play, possession, where United got a chance. So just going through it, it's blocked away. I don't know what Power's doing there. He lost a goal, I think it was against St Mirren a few weeks ago, and he caught in the ball again. It gave Dundee United another opportunity, but throughout the half, Kilmarnock have dominated, got themselves into good position. They're playing good football, but it's been the story of their season. They just can't get on the end of things, and they've been unlucky when Kyle Lafferty hit the bar as well. But still, just going into half time, it's Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1.
Half time here, Richard, at Celtic Park. Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0.
And Leanne, you almost there in Paisley?
We've got a couple of minutes to go, Richard. The fourth official just indicated 3 minutes added on time, with a couple of produce for that challenge on Dylan Connolly, and then Joe Shaughnessy was down with a head knock. So a couple of minutes away from half time, but still nothing to report.
That's half time here at Starks Park, Richard. It's Wraith Rovers 0, Alva 1.
So it's the early goal from Innes Cameron, who's found a bit of form in recent times, which is Alloa in front there. Wraith Rovers currently in third place, top of the table. Hearts on 39, Dunfermline on 27, and being held 0-0 by Queen of the South.
Half-time at Easter Road as well, Richard. 1-0 to Motherwell.
Half time in Dumfries, it's Queen of the South 0, Dunfermline 0.
Ayr United Arbroath, that's just about at half-time as well. That's goalless at Somerset Park. We've still got those matches at Rugby Park and in Paisley, which are going on in England. Into first half stoppage time it remains. West Bromwich Albion 1, Brighton 0, and full-time from earlier was Manchester City 2, West Ham United 1. John Stones were the winner midway through the second half. Remember, Sports Scene tonight at 7:30 on the BBC Scotland channel. If you can't catch it then, you can do so on BBC One Scotland much later at 11:25. Tomorrow, off the ball from midday, there's live coverage, of course, of the Betfred Cup final. Wednesday, Livingston against Rangers and Hamilton against St Johnstone, the rearranged Premiership matches. Full live coverage of those games on Wednesday's Sports Sound, and there'll be Sports Scene that night, Wednesday night at 11:30 again on the BBC Scotland channel. And then incidentally next Friday, a big game from the Championship in terms of those playoff places in the Championship. Wraith Rovers against Dunfermline will be the Sports Scene live match from the second tier. Half-time at Celtic Park already, 1-0 Celtic thanks to Odsonne Edouard. Half-time at Easter Road, Hibernian 0, Motherwell 1. Jordan Roberts with the only goal there.
That's us half-time here in Paisley, Richard. St Mirren 0, Ross County 0.
Both those sides are, of course, looking for points for slightly different reasons. St Mirren, a couple of points clear of Dundee United in 6th position. They know another win this afternoon would go a long way towards keeping them in the top half for the run into the season. They just have 2 more games to go after that. The opponents, Ross County, a couple of points advantage over Kilmarnock and Hamilton after that magnificent victory against Celtic last Sunday night. But desperate to keep things going. John Hughes, of course, saying in the wake of that, look, we don't need to just do it against the big teams, against Hibs, against Aberdeen, against Celtic. We need to do it against all the sides, and he'll be keen to see them add a point or points to that victory against Celtic in Paisley this afternoon. So it is half-time there, half-time at, well, most of the matches around the country. We can round up everything that's been happening in the first 45 minutes.
The most comprehensive coverage of Scottish football.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
So the half-time story across the country: Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 0, Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0, Ross County 0. In the Championship, Ayr United 0, Arbroath 0, Morton 1, Dundee 0, Queen of the South 0, Dunfermline 0, Wraith Rovers 0, Alloa Athletic 1. And in the English Premier League, full-time from earlier, Manchester City 2, West Ham United 1, and half-time, West Bromwich Albion 1, Brighton 0. Let's go to Celtic Park then. Our commentary team there, Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
Yeah, a little bit of opposites from the match between the sides 10 days ago, where Aberdeen were so poor in the opening half an hour that it eventually cost them the 3 points on the night, but they came roaring out of the traps here. They do trail at half-time, but Ash Taylor with 2 headers in the opening 5 minutes came actually in the back-to-back phases of play. The first one saw him head off the crossbar, and then from a corner he produced a wonderful save out of Scott Bain, point blank, and the big Aberdeen defender scratching his head and wondering why he hadn't put his team in front. He was wondering even more just 3 minutes later, because Odson Edouard found himself in too much space at the edge of the Aberdeen box. He got his shot away. It was a pretty timid shot, actually. Joe Lewis was away diving to his right. He didn't bargain on it bouncing off Tommy Hoban, though, and it went to the goalkeeper's left and into the net. Agonising for Aberdeen, who'd made that bright start, but real relief for John Kennedy down below us. And from that moment on, it has been all Celtic, although Ross McCrory did have a riposte for Aberdeen a few minutes later, but by and large it's been Joe Lewis's save from David Turnbull, Patrick Klimala missing a glorious chance from a wonderful John Joe Kenny ball across the face of goal, and Ryan Christie on 32 minutes fired an effort, loads of power, and it just couldn't find the target, just rose over the crossbar. But Packy Bonner watching that one with me, Aberdeen started so brightly, but the goal has completely deflated them.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Aberdeen fans, the first half doesn't last 5 minutes. You know, that's really what it was, 5 minutes. And the way that they were set up, you're looking, okay, they're going to get about Celtic today, they're going to put them under pressure, this is going to be a difficult game for Celtic to settle down after the week that they've had. But then they lose the goal, as you rightly say, Liam, and then the whole thing just completely changes. No energy from Aberdeen. Celtic able to pass the ball around the players and then starting to press individually. Just absolutely dominated by Celtic in that first half and deserve to be in the lead.
Yeah, they've had 76% possession in the first half of the champions, which perhaps underlines their dominance in the game, and it continues their dominance in front of goal against Aberdeen. Richard, the Dons have only managed 4 clean sheets now against Celtic in their last 107 matches against the current champions of Scotland, which is remarkable. Half-time here in Glasgow, Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0.
Wow. Live commentary, of course, from that one. That will continue in the second half on digital, 8-1 on medium wave and online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. The only good news, I guess, for Aberdeen is that Hibernian are also trailing at half-time. It's Hibernian 0, Motherwell 1. Michael Stewart.
They are indeed, and obviously they were coming into this game in some real good form, Hibs, and looking to cement that position in third place and perhaps try and stretch the lead over Aberdeen. But after starting brightly, the first 10 minutes or so, they're popping the ball about really well. The front three from Motherwell started to get a wee bit of joy in behind the Hibs defence. And first of all, Tony Watt got a strike on goal from the edge of the 6-yard box. Should have done better. He hit the side netting, but it was a warning for Hibs that they weren't able to get control of that front three. And then inside 25 minutes, Jordan Roberts running through on goals with a left foot strike under Marciano into the back of the net to put Motherwell 1-0 up. And for the rest of the half, it sort of petered out. There wasn't anything really happening. The game was quite flat. The only other thing that's happened in the first half is Jake Carroll has had to go off with a head knock. He went in for a challenge with Christian Deutsch, who he came off worst. He's been substituted, and Nathan McGinley's come on at left back for him. So at half time, it's 1-0 for Motherwell.
Well, it could potentially be a big result for Motherwell if they can see that one through. Jordan Roberts with his first goal for his new club. There's also been a single goal at Rugby Park. Billy Dodds.
Yeah, Kelly have been decent and started well in this one, but it was United who had the first chance when Sporler found Shankland at the angle at the right-hand side, and he shot weakly into the side net. Kelly's first chance, Rich, came in the 17th minute. McNulty was poor from a throw-in, gave the ball away to Lafferty, and from about 22 yards, brilliantly curled a shot that crashed off the crossbar, just Kelly's luck. And they were made to pay a minute later. Kelly lost possession. Hart's picked up, nice pass to Sporler, he hit the shot, and just when your luck's not in. It was a double deflection that made it trundle past goalkeeper Doyle. 11 minutes for the break. Seagrease had a really good double save as well. Lafferty free kick, bounced in front of him, he pushed it away. Pinnock followed up, caught it sweetly, and he somehow turned it round at the near post. Then Kelly again, good play, power, worked the ball, 3 or 4 passes, and he shot over from a good position. Kelly are definitely the dominant team in this one, but it's United who are pushing for a top 6 place themselves, who lead at the break at half time at Rugby Park. It's Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1.
And it means that Kilmarnock have now gone 553 minutes without scoring. That's just 20 minutes shy of that mark that Aberdeen set last week when they finally broke the deadlock against Killie. No deadlock being broken in Paisley. It's St Mirren against Ross County there, half-time with Leanne.
Yeah, still goalless here, Richard. 2 side searching, I guess, for what could be a hugely valuable 3 points. A positive start from the home side that continued throughout the half. Dylan Conley had an early chance after 7 minutes. He received a lovely through ball from Lee Irwin, but as he looked to get the shot off with the left foot, it took a nasty bobble and the shot flew high and wide. Ross County, they had their closest effort. It was a Keith Watson header after 20 minutes from a Tony Andrew corner, but the County defender couldn't direct the header on target, and that also went high and wide. Minutes later, Jamie McGrath, he had a shot from distance, but not enough power to trouble Ross Laidlaw in the County goal. And then, well, Ross Laidlaw produced the moment of the half, a point-blank save from a Conor McCarthy header. Looked to be heading into the keeper's bottom left-hand corner, but an incredible piece of goalkeeping saw the ball pushed behind for a corner. Another notable moment of the half was Carol Tremarco picking up a yellow card for that heavy and late challenge on St Mirren's Dylan Conley, who thankfully is okay. I mean, this is a game that could go either way, but as it stands at half-time, it's St Mirren 0, Ross County 0.
So in the Premiership at half-time, Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 0, Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1, and St Mirren 0, Ross County 0. Half-time, of course, across the Championship as well. It is United 0, Arbroath 0 at the break at Somerset. We're going to go to Palmerston, Queen of the South against Dunfermline there with Sandra.
Yeah, well, it's still Queen of the South 0, Dunfermline 0, and I think it'll be Stevie Crawford who will be the most frustrated manager in the dressing rooms at the moment, because his side have pressed for long spells but have nothing to show for it. For half an hour, Queen's found it hard to get out of their own half, but some strong defending limited Dunfermline's chances in goal. But they did have a great opportunity to take the lead after 12 minutes when Craig Whiten won a penalty, but Rowan Ferguson stood up to Declan McManus and dived to his left to save the spot kick at the bottom corner. But then Queens came into it in the final 15 minutes of the first half, and only a great save by Owen Fawn Williams 5 minutes from the break kept it goalless. Isaiah Jones down the left, perfect delivery into the box, and Aya Obalai was at the edge of the 6-yard box. The big defender caught it on the volley. It had power, but the keeper got his body behind it to stop it from crossing the line. So it's still goalless here at Dumfries. Queen of the South 0, Dunfermline 0 at half-time.
Right, thank you to Sandra. There was an early goal in Kirkcaldy. It's Wraith Rovers against Alloa Athletic there with Heather Dewar.
Yeah, there was indeed, Richard. As it stands, it's Wraith Rovers 0, Alloa 1. Innes Cameron, the Kilmarnock loanee, putting Alloa ahead on the 14th minute. His third for the club, and it was a lovely header, actually, that flew into the top left-hand corner from close range, set up by some nice play between Corley, Triton and Scougall. Corley's ball sweetly picked up by Cameron in the box to give the visitors the lead here, and it's a goal that had pretty much been coming for Peter Grant's side, digging in, piling loads of pressure on the home side. John Robertson and Innes Cameron both with efforts before that, though nothing really to trouble the Rovers keeper Jamie McDonald. Ross Matthews with the only real chance for Rovers up to that point. As Alloa Preston held back John McGlynn's men, Andy Graham picked up a Stephen Hetherington free kick smartly to head towards goal, but it was again easily saved by McDonald. And then the Wasps just continued to carry out a masterclass in defence over a very frustrated Wraith Rovers. The home side with quite a few penalty shouts. I'd imagine we may hear a bit about that at the end from John McGlynn. One when Kai Kennedy looked to have been brought down in the box, another when the Rovers players thought the ball had come off the arm of one of the Alloa defenders in the box. But all in all, the real difference here today in terms of play is Alloa's physicality and their fantastic defending. For a side that are not particularly big, they are dominant on the physicality front today. Their football is not pretty, but prettiness, as we know, doesn't always win you football games. Wraith Rovers 0, Alloa 1.
That leaves us with one other game to go to. It is half-time, of course, at Capello. It's Morton against Dundee with Derek Ferguson.
Yes, Richard, and we're up and running into the second half. As it stands, Morton leading by a goal to nil against Dundee. And all I've got to say is thank goodness for Craig McGuffey. I'll come on to that in a second, because the game has been a bit of a battle, to be honest, not helped by a poor surface. Chances have been few and far between. Morton Salkhead, he went close in 16 minutes, flicking the ball just wide of the target from about 10 yards out. Dundee So, he had a header just over in 37 minutes from a Fontaine cross. Then it was out of nowhere, 4 minutes from the break. The first real bit of quality in the game, Craig McGuffey, as I was saying, volleying home from 18 yards out from the left-hand side to give Morton the lead. So Morton, with that goal, as I'm saying, Richard, hope for a little bit better, a little bit more football in the second half, but Morton with that all-important lead. Morton 1, Dundee 0.
Chance, goal! Goal! All the action from all the biggest games.
And that is spectacular. That is brilliant.
This is Sports Sound.
Beautifully worked, expertly constructed.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
So as ever, a choice of listening for you if you want to hear live second half commentary from Celtic Park, where Celtic lead Aberdeen 1-0. That's on digital, 810 medium wave and online. It's open all mics on BBC Sounds 92 to 95 FM, and also an option online as well.
Listen live online at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland.
Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
So the second half's getting up and running around the country. This is Sports Sound, open all mics with me, Richard Gordon. We've got Willie Miller at Celtic Park, Michael Stewart at Easter Road, Billy Dodds at Rugby Park, Leanne Crichton is in Paisley for St Mirren against Ross County, Sandra Brown down at Palmerston, Heather Dewar at Starks Park, and Derek Ferguson at Capello will be with them throughout the course of the second half right around the country as we keep you across the goals. And I'll bring you news of anything that happens at Somerset Park between Ayr United and Arbroath. If you want to see the highlights from the 4 Premiership matches this afternoon, you get that on Sports Scene tonight, 7:30 on the BBC Scotland channel. Tomorrow on Radio Scotland, off the ball from midday. Sports Sound follows that with the Betfred Cup final. Wednesday night you can get live coverage of Livingston Rangers and Hamilton at St Johnstone on Sports Sound, with the highlights on Sports Scene at 11:30 that night on BBC Scotland. And Friday the 5th of March, we kick off next weekend with a Fife derby, Wraith Rovers against Dunfermline, live on the BBC Scotland channel. So, second half up and running at Celtic Park. It has been an all too familiar tale for both Celtic and Aberdeen in this particular fixture. Willie, I don't know if you picked up on Liam's stat at half-time. I think it was 4 clean sheets in 107 games against Celtic, stretching back all those years. You haven't seen an awful lot since the opening stages. That suggests that's going to change this afternoon.
No, we haven't here, Richard, unfortunately. They've started brightly in the second half.
Sorry, it's clearly not going to change, of course, because they won't be keeping a clean sheet. I was thinking more of Aberdeen breaching the Celtic defence.
Yeah, absolutely, but Aberdeen have started brightly, Richard, in the second half. That's a good news, but the first half, no, it wasn't a good... his other statistics was 76% possession. I would have put it at about maybe towards a 90% possession, because Celtic have dominated completely in the first half, and Aberdeen really need to engage with them in the second, get a bit closer. They make it more difficult for them to pass the ball, but the stats say it all, doesn't it? It's, been a terrible hunting ground for Aberdeen, Celtic Park, and they're going to have to improve greatly if that is going to change this afternoon. As I said, they started brightly in the second half, started brightly in the first half.
And it's another goal for Motherwell, 2-0 up. Oof. Devastating start to the second half. Down the inside left channel, the ball gets slipped. I think it's Jordan Roberts slips into Devante Cole. Gaping holes in the back line from Hibs. Cole just sets himself and then passes it with a fair bit of pace into the far corner. Marciano, no chance. 2-0 to Motherwell. What a start of the second half.
Richard,
it's amazing, Michael, isn't it? Yeah.
I can just give you a quick update, sorry, Justin. There's loads of half-time substitutes here in Paisley. Joe Shaughnessy's went off after that head knock, and he's replaced by Richard Tate for the home side. And Ross County have made 3 changes. Off goes Carol Tremarco, Michael Gardine and Tony Andrew, and they are replaced by Jordan Tilson, Paul Donaldson, and I need to confirm the third one, but it looks like a change of shape for Ross County, sorry. They've just matched up, they've changed their back 3, and it looks like they're just going to match up against the St Mirren 3-5-2 that they've got. I'll confirm the third sub though.
I could tell you,
sure.
It's Jakaviti, Donaldson and Shaw are on for Gardine, Andrew and Tremarco.
Oh, thanks, Jack. There we go.
Wow, Chick Young helping people out.
Still got it, wee man.
I like to help people around the country, well, it's always been my way.
Chick's there, just keeping an eye. James McFadden is our VAR this afternoon as well. But what a start to the second half for Motherwell. Devante Cole at that run of 4 goals in 5 matches through January and into the start of February. Motherwell, of course, off the back of those 2 heavy home defeats to Hamilton and St Johnstone, picked up a bit with a draw, the 0-0 draw in Paisley against St Mirren in midweek. But what a start to the second half, just exactly what Graham Alexander would have been looking for, Michael, and a real shocker for a Hibs side that actually been defending much better of late. Just 1 goal conceded in 4 games heading into this one.
Exactly. I think that I spoke about it in the first half before Motherwell had scored. The influence of Darren McGregor in the back line, I think, has been noticeable. He's been very good. Although, as I'm just looking at the substitution being made right at the start of the second half here, McGregor is coming off, and Porteous is coming on, and then Nisbet is on for Jamie Murphy, and it's a triple sub actually, and Gogic is also coming on, and it looks as if, I'm not sure who it's Lewis Stevenson's come off, so Chris Caddens has come over to the left hand side, Martin Boyle has gone over to the right, and Gogic has gone into the centre of the midfield. So there's been a few changes in the personnel. The system's still going to remain the same, but a triple sub there for Hibs. Jack Ross trying to ignite something for the home side, because 2-0 down. It's been a great position for Motherwell to find themselves in, as you said, after those 2 very, very poor results at home. They managed to get a draw at Paisley, which has helped them to just steady the ship, and then they've carried it on from there. And
They've got a goal. Yeah.
It's 4 minutes into the second half, and it's Queen of the South who have the lead. A thunderous right foot shot, from Willie Gibson from about 20 yards past Owen Fawn-Williams. It was great play by Isaiah Jones again inside the box. The ball was cleared, it came out to Gibson, and he hit it with power past Fawn-Williams. It is Queen of the South 1, Dunfermline 0.
Was it up there, Sandra, with that remarkable goal last week?
It wasn't as much of a run, but it was the similar strike, but it was low this time. The last week's one was high into the net, this one was low into the net, but same power, Richard.
Commander nearly
Third goal of the season for Willie Gibson, yes.
A brilliant save from Seagrease. They must be wondering what they've got to do to get a goal these days, Commander, because it's a corner kick, it's headed out, and Medley catches it. A left foot volley from the centre half from about 16 yards, and it is flying into the bottom corner, and Seagrease, Richard, somehow gets down to his right hand side and gets that way. Great save.
So it's still Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1. Killy being thwarted. Adrian Sporla's deflected effort in the first half, still separating the sides there. What a win that would be for Mickey Mellon's men. Actually, the results as they stand right now, or the scores as they stand, with St Mirren and Dundee United tied on 37 points apiece, with just 2 matches to go before the split kicks in. St Johnstone would be 4 behind those pairs, but they would have a game in hand. Motherwell just about in the mix as well, given that they're 2-0 up against Aberdeen at Easter Road. It could be a thrilling conclusion to that little sideshow as we get to the point where the final make-up for the season will be completed in the top flight. Anyway, 2-0 Motherwell. It's still 1-0 Dundee United, 1-0 Celtic, as we've been hearing, and all those changes we heard about 2 in Paisley. St Mirren against Ross County, goalless. That one remains. John Hughes' men 2 points clear of the bottom. St Mirren, of course, right now holding on to 6th place, just about.
Paddy and I were just saying we will, but and I used to be against the split, but I have to say, changed my mind totally. It adds a bit of excitement, games to play for at this time of year. I think it's a great thing now, actually, and I was totally against it a few seasons ago.
What's happening with you these days, wee guy? You're just a different man.
I'm mellowing. I'm becoming the man you always thought I would be, Bill.
I think you go back. I mean, you're back obviously to the days of the SPL when it was first introduced, and it was such a foreign concept that most of us, I think, took against it. And you so often you say, oh, but such and such landed up with more points and 7th place in the team in 6th. Well, yeah, but I had to point out that they actually played completely different fixtures in the final part of the campaign, so it wasn't really that was the case. I mean, it's just become it's a way of life now, I suppose, isn't it? We all blithely talk about finishing in the top 6, bottom 6. Of
course, unless none don't make it, in which case go back to my previous way of thinking.
Never mellowed for long, eh?
I think at the start of the season, Chick, you might have settled for finishing in 7th or 8th or 9th.
Not at all. I shared Tony Fitzpatrick's way of thinking about the club.
Oh, I don't remember you saying it was a top 4 season that lay ahead.
I think. No, I don't think I did.
Oh my God, what a save, Chick. You're going to love this if you loved Ross Laidlaw's earlier. Can you tell me who gets the header in the end? It's off the bar. Couple of unbelievable chances for Ross County, Richard. And that one's offside. Jack Anick has made an unbelievable save from a header onto the bar. It's come back down. How it hasn't ended up in the goals, I have no idea. St Mirren have definitely escaped one there.
I think it's Big Jordan that gets it. A ball whipped in the right side. Paddy will help me here. What a header, right on target. How it's at him, to be fair, but he still makes a fantastic strong arm to get on it. Great save.
It's an initial lovely combination of play. Check down the right hand side with Ross County, a wee give and go, manages to dig the delivery out, puts it in at a lovely height. It would have been a fantastic goal, but an unbelievable save all the same.
Yeah, it's Jordan White with the header.
You'll see these saves on Sportscene tonight, 7:30 on the BBC Scotland channel. Still goalless, St Mirren against Ross County. Dundee United still 1-0 up against Kilmarnock. Been some good goalkeeping in that one as well. Motherwell with a 2-0 advantage against Hibernian. You talked to us, Michael, about the changes that Jack Ross immediately turned to. Is it having any effect at all?
No, I mean, the game's not really taking any different format or shape. The ball's just been a lovely crossfield ball from Jackson Irvine out to Martin Boyle on the right here.
We've got an equaliser here for Wraith Rovers, and that looked like Brad Spencer to me. So yeah, lovely header in, just flew into the right hand top corner. Lovely ball in from him, right past Parry there. And yeah, I have to say that one's been coming to Richard. They've just been utterly frustrated by Alva so far in this match, but yeah, they finally got that in. It came in from a corner from Armstrong, and yeah, him getting the head onto it. So Spencer there with the goal to equalise here. It's 1-1.
Been a sub here at Rugby Park, Richard. Dundee United have had to change shape because Kilmarnock are just getting into good areas. A lot of crosses coming in the box, so they've now taken off midfielder Fuchs and put on Matt Connolly at the back, and they've changed to a 3-5-2 now.
Brad Spencer with their second goal of the season to cancel out the early opener from Innes Cameron for Alloa Athletic. So it's Wraith Rovers 1, Alloa Athletic 1. Queen of the South still 1-0 up in Dunfermline. That fine strike by the sound of things by Willie Gibson in the 5th minute of the second half. Still Craig McGuffey's first half strike has Morton up against Dundee. Any reaction, Derek Ferguson, from the visitors?
It's pretty much the same as the first half, I'm afraid, Richard. I'm wondering what, along to my left-hand side, Andy Ritchie, you know, he's working for Morton TV. I'm just wondering what he's thinking. I think Andy turned 65, I think it was last week. One of the guys was saying to me there before the game, I think it was one of the games, he shouted to him, "Are you fit to go on, Andy?" And he turned round and he says, "Was I ever fit?" You know, but what a player, watched him in his heyday, what a player he was, and you know, he must be frustrated like Amar. But I've got to say that the pitch is really difficult. Both sets of players giving it everything, as you would imagine, Richard, but just a real lack of quality, and the only quality has been McGuffey's goal. That's it, and I don't think it's going to get any better, I'm afraid.
10 minutes played in the second half at Somerset. It remains here United 0, Arbroath 0. Those sides will air in 9th position, albeit with a couple of games in hand Arbroath in 8th. They've been on this really fine run of late. Unbeaten in the last 7 matches. Ayr United lost 2 in the bounce. And certainly if Arbroath could get, well, Morton are in the same points, 18, as Arbroath right now. Arbroath could somehow get ahead in that one. That would certainly alleviate any concerns they've got right now. It would also, it's going to be so fascinating, isn't it? There's still almost half a season to go for a number of these teams, or the guts of that, given that it's a 27-game campaign and very, very tight. Alva at the bottom, 4 adrift at the start of play, and just been pegged back 1 apiece against Wraith Rovers. So still goalless, Ayr United against Arbroath. It's not been the heaviest scoring day we've seen all season long. Just 4 goals this afternoon in the Premiership. None yet in Paisley, where it's St Mirren 0, Ross County 0. Dundee United, though, Dodgy, still 1-0 up against Kilmarnock, as frustration beginning to show for the home side.
Yeah, a little bit, but they're still, you know, they are getting possession. They're working the ball well. They look confident. The players, they just can't fashion out a goal, which would give them that next step in the old mentality levels. I can understand why United have changed. They've got 5 in midfield, try to get a grip in there, because Kilmarnock were dominating in there. And Kilmarnock, Dundee United now have had a couple of ventures up the pitch, but as far as Kilmarnock is concerned, Richard, I don't think anybody can argue that they're actually playing pretty well, but it's been the story where they've lost a goal and they just can't seem to get one at the other end. It's as simple as that.
Aberdeen has made a change, Richard. Callum Hendry comes on and Dean Campbell goes off, so Derek McInnes throwing a striker up front. He's playing now with the 2 up top and Niall McGinn just off. They've been better in the second half. Celtic haven't dominated quite as much, and Derek McInnes making a statement there by making that change, taking the deep line midfield player off and putting a striker on. So it should be a little bit better from an Aberdeen point of view. They'll certainly have more strike force up top. Of course, they've still got to create the chances, but it's been a better start to the second half for the visitors.
Just another rerun, Leanne, of that save from Anik. It was terrific, and I'm not sure he didn't get a finger. The second effort, which I think was from Kelly for Ross County as well. Great saves. And you'll be. Do you want me to save you from the? I hate triple substitutions.
I've got them here.
Good girl. I hate it.
Oh, I know. It makes it interesting anyway. Off has gone Irwin, Conley, and Erehon, and on comes Abika, McPherson, and Queener, who has returned from injury.
And there's been a double here. Kilmarnock reacting, trying to get back in this game. Pinnock and Roddy McKenzie have gone off, and Nicky Kabamba has come on, and Chris Burke has come on for Kilmarnock.
Of course, Chick, you'll remember when there was no subs.
I do, Willie. So do you.
I think the subs are coming just before Willie.
Who was the first new sub in Scottish football?
I know. Does anyone else know?
No.
It's
before my time.
Archie Gamble.
Yeah, you might have played him, Willie, I was going to say.
Richard, I just wanted to say that the Wraith Rovers goal was chalked off. I was going quiet there because I was actually just trying to find... Yeah, I was trying to find out why it had been chalked off, because I couldn't figure out why. There's just lots of people flummoxed here in the press box, so right. I don't know whether there's a shove there.
You haven't had VAR introduced at Kirkcaldy?
No, sadly not. But yeah, really, I do not know why that was chalked off.
A few teams down the bottom of that championship going, oh no.
Yeah. That's the last thing they needed. But Heather, you go into the pantheon of disallowed goals that have been reported as having stood over the years on open all mics. There have been a few of them. Spency's got about 7 entries in the top 10.
An illustrious field.
Well, to be fair,
chance, goal for Dundee, Richard Cummings.
An equaliser.
Yeah, again, it's just a long ball, straight ball down the middle, this time Morton. I think Big McGinty's having words with McLean there. But anyway, Cummins, he gets on it, a little kind of, it's up round about his midriff, gets it down and just hits it on a kind of half volley into the back, low pass the keeper into the back of the net. So again, it's kind of out of nowhere. Dundee get back in level terms.
He got his first goal for the club last week in the home defeat to Queen of the South. He's got a second this afternoon, and it will be a welcome one for James McPake and everyone at the club. They're back on level terms at Capello. Morton 1, Dundee 1. Still Ayr United 0, Arbroath 0. Queen of the South 1-0 up in Dunfermline. That's Willie Gibson goal that right now, with Wraith Rovers leading, would see Queens join Wraith Rovers on the 24-point mark. And just to recap on that, Brad Spencer thought he had levelled up for Wraith Rovers. To be fair, Heather thought he levelled up for Wraith Rovers, but that goal disallowed. So Wraith Rovers nil, Alva Athletic 1. Innes Cameron's 14th minute effort still separating the sides at Starks Park. As for the Premiership, well, it's Motherwell who are in the best position of all. A 2-0 leads Michael Stewart at Easter Road.
Yeah, and we're talking about the substitutions that had been made by Hibs.
Goal! Kilmarnock have scored this medley. They've just flicked on, and near post, it was a corner kick. Sorry, Mikey. Comes in, flicked on, and Medley, who was slotted earlier on with a left foot volley, scores with one this time. It is now Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 1.
Well, the new signing gets his first goal. He's on loan, of course, at Killie. That, I think, will have come just about to stop Kilmarnock setting the longest run without a goal this season. There were 553 minutes going into the second half. Aberdeen set that record of 573 minutes last weekend. How many minutes gone with you, Doddsy?
64.
Know,
yeah, 64.
All right.
Into the 65th. Do you want exact? I'll give you the seconds as well. 64 minutes 30. No, you've asked me the.
Is that big clock still working to the far side there,
Yeah,
Doddsy?
what do you think? Because I've not got my phone on. You're right, Rich.
Brilliant. Right, well, look, if it's come in the 65th minute, they've beaten Aberdeen by 1 minute, it would seem. So, not that will bother them in the slightest. The big thing is getting the goal. And they are back in level terms. And what will be interesting
They're on the break
now,
again. Oh, but just curls one over the crossbar. It's just, listen, we come out with all the quotes. Goals just change games, give you confidence. That's exactly what's happened. Kilmarnock were playing well. Just something missing that they didn't believe over the last few games. In that final third, needed something to happen within a game. And as soon as you score, it's not a different team. They've played well today, but they've certainly stepped up a level, Rich.
Well, that's exactly the point I was going to put to you, Doddsy, was it'll be interesting now to see how that changes the mentality, how that has an effect on the team, because inevitably, the longer it goes without scoring against players, the confidence ebbs and they begin to snatch at opportunities.
It drains you, yeah, and I think even it filters through the team. The back line are looking at it and they're thinking, OK, we've given away another goal, but even if they're keeping clean sheets, they're thinking, we're not going to score today. It's not happening. We're getting into good areas again. Kilmarnock have played pretty well in this game. They've been decent over the last few games, but they still needed something to happen in the final third, and it has. And they're going again now, housed up, coming up the left-hand side. Just forcing it. They're getting balls in the box. It's booted away. United getting desperate. Kilmarnock fancy winning this one, Rich.
They will be absolutely delighted just to have got the goal, just the release that will give them. It's the first time they've scored since Aaron Tishbola got that goal against St Johnstone way back in the 30th of January. And remember, that was the game, wasn't it, when they were 2-0 up? Yeah, 2-0 up. And then St Johnstone came back and scored 3 goals late on to take the 3 points. They then went those 5 matches without scoring. It's officially come through a 64th minute for Zek Medley's goal. So they ended that run after 571 minutes. 2 minutes.
That's brilliant, it's brilliant, and it's a goal for Morton. I'm just going to clarify who that's. A brilliant cross from McGuffey. Richard, it might be Blues that's got it. I'll just confirm that, Richard, but what a wonderful cross. I think it's Colville that's got the goal. McGuffey, again, his volley was brilliant. It was the real bit of quality we had in the first half, but that was a brilliant ball. We just sees it. I'm sure it's Colville just coming in there, gets his head on it. He heads it down, and I think it's the bounce. It's beat the keeper, just bounces over him into the corner, into the net. So Morton back in the lead, 2-1.
Well, confirmation of the scorer to absolutely come, but Morton have the advantage. They started the day on 18 points alongside Arbroath and just 1 point clear of second bottom Ayr United, 1 point behind 6th place Cally Thistle. It's so tight in that bottom half of the table. So we're going to see the relegation playoff places. That, of course, is going to be dependent on Leagues 1 and 2 completing their campaign, and we really, at this stage, don't know exactly what is going to be happening in the lower leagues for the remainder of this season.
Yeah, it's Colville, Richards.
More news.
Just Colville, Richards, just been confirmed.
Perfect. So a 2-1 advantage for Morton in that one, and just waiting to find out what is going to happen. I think we're expecting some news at the start of the week as to where the Leagues 1 and 2 may go. But Morton 2, Dundee 1 still. Ayr United, in fact, Ayr United 0, Arbroath 1. Arbroath have taken the lead, and it's Michael McKenna who's got the goal there in the 63rd minute. Said a few moments ago, if they can.
And it looks like we have got a leveller here. Just going to double check. But Ian McDonald there with a lovely strike on the volley, went straight past Neil Parry into the right-hand side of the box. But yeah, the ball, lovely play in from the right-hand side of the pitch. And they finally levelled proceedings after being constantly frustrated by Alva. And by the way, the disallowed goal was apparently a push on Parry. He was on the floor when the ball went into the net. There's a total guddle, so yeah, that one pretty hard to see, actually. But yeah, that's why that one was disallowed.
Just make sure there's a kick-off header.
You what?
Just make sure there's a kick-off.
Yes, one shouldn't look down and start writing things on their computer after a goal has apparently gone in.
To be fair, it has happened to us all over the years. Ian Davidson with the equaliser for Wraith Rovers.
There's a chance for
1,
Alva. Oh, good save from Kelly, although it's still... It was a really nice ball through from Jackson Irvine. He slide drill pass with the left foot on the inside for Christian Deutsch, who made a nice run just from the inside right channel. He got the strike off, but Liam Kelly was out quick and shut the striker down. They managed to clear the lines. It's still 2-0 to Motherwell.
A brilliant chance for Kilmarnock, it really was. Kelty taking off down the right, hangs up a lovely cross. Kabamba, I don't know if you're watching it, Faddy, could go with his left foot or a header, but he goes with his right foot, and he's never got the angle or the purchase to do that.
No, he's got to go with his left foot. It's a great ball from Kelty, and he just he's even at the stretch to go with your right foot in that position. You're never going to score from that angle.
Richard and Dundee just moments ago letting the guys get through their games. It was Mullen just crashing one off the post type bar, well, kind of the junction. Just it was a ball into the box and not cleared particularly well, and they're just pressing at the moment. But it was Mullen just on the spin, good connection, but just crashing off the junction of the post and the bar.
This could be interesting. It was a ball over the top, and Connolly's in a 1-on-1 with Kabamba. It's a yellow. There was a man inside. Faddy, check this one out.
Well, he will do when he gets a chance to see it.
I thought I heard somebody saying chance, so I left it.
That was me, Dodgy, at Celtic Park. It was a chance for Aberdeen, actually. Andrew Considine almost getting on to the end of it, but he couldn't get his shot off. So it kind of looked like a chance, but it didn't actually kind of turn into a good opportunity. But Aberdeen have turned it around again in the second half. They're playing much better. They're getting close to Celtic. They're making it difficult. Celtic don't have that fluid play that they had in the first half, and they're putting pressure on them. And Lewis Ferguson now down the right hand side, nothing comes of it, but it's much better when they've actually decided to take part in this game. And the second half has been a real turnaround for them, but nothing to show for it yet. Still, the home side Celtic leading 1-0.
Substitution here at Easter Road, Richard. And Declan Gallagher's back on the park for Motherwell. Tony Watt's gone off. It's a change of shape. Motherwell have gone to a back three.
Oh, what's that?
Back three, two wing backs, three in midfield and two up top. On you go, Billy.
No, I'm not sure what's happened. There's a brilliantly worked free kick from Kilmarnock. They'll get a runner and Lafferty. He's over the ball, but then runs and they play it inside. It's forced back to him, hangs up across. Broadfoot gets there. It looks as if he goes down for a penalty, and then it's blasted into the roof of the net. But the referee's seen a foul to Dundee United. They get a wee bit lucky there.
I think it's a foul on the goalie, Dodgy.
Is it right?
As it comes back in.
It's Broadfoot. I thought Broadfoot was just getting there trying for the penalty. Listen, it's hard to see from here, but it was well worked and it was unlucky, and I thought they'd taken the lead for a second or two.
I need to see it again, but I think Siegrist palms it into the path of Lafferty, then Broadfoot comes. I don't know how much contact there is on Siegrist.
Did you think it kicked out his hands, maybe?
I'm sure. I don't think he did. I've only had a chance to see it once, but I'm not sure there's too much wrong with it. I'd need to see it again.
You're talking, Billy, I think about the free kick. I think you were suspecting there might be a clear goal scoring opportunity. Is that what you were suggesting?
No, I knew there was a man inside, but it was just interesting whether they thought that, if it was Kabamba who's got a bit of pace, here's United with a shot. Kabamba, it was Lafferty just helped in a channel. I knew there was a Dundee United defender inside Connolly chick, but just wasn't sure what the referee would think.
I think the ball was going towards the corner, and Kabamba was going to go on the end of it. There's no doubt about that. But I think Reynolds is potentially covering round. I don't think it's a clear goal scoring opportunity. Here's it's a foul. It's a foul on Siegrist. The goal that was disallowed. Broadfoot comes in and he challenges. Well, Siegrist is going to either gather the ball or push it away, and he goes in with his boot towards Siegrist's hands. And I think that is the right decision, having seen it back.
It's Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 1 in that one. It's still Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 2, St Mirren 0, Ross County 0. How's that second half going, Leanne Crichton?
Oh, it's wonderful, Richard. We've had so many substitutions that I've got another 3 to update you with if you would care to hear them. For the visitors, off has gone Charlie Lacken and Blair Spittle, and on has come Jordan Tilson and Harry Payton. And for the home side, off has gone Ilkay Durmus and on has come Ryan Flynn. And thank God you can make 5 substitutes, because this second half has certainly not been as entertaining as the first. Let's just put it that way. Still goalless.
Well, St Mirren moving to what would be a 5th successive draw. It's not too often you get that kind of run from a team. Hibs went 5 successive draws in the Premiership in 2019-20. That's the longest run of draws we've had since the Premiership began some 8 years ago. And it does mean, clearly you're not losing, you're picking up the points in that way, but potentially losing ground on teams around you. 5 was also the mark for the most successive draws in the SPL era. Dunfermline Hearts and Dundee United all did that at various points. And right now, by the sound of things, from what Leanne's telling us, we should not expect a goal feast in the closing stages of that one in Paisley. St Mirren 0, Ross County 0. Still Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0. Very early goal from Hudson Edwards separating the sides. It sounds really quite similar to the game the midweek before last. Celtic did win by 1-0 in which Aberdeen, having been, if not pummeled, certainly outplayed in the first half, were much better in the second. Why not play in the first half like they have been in the second half of both games?
And all it takes, Richard, is you get the wing backs to play almost like wingers, and that's what they've done. McLennan and Johnny Hayes have pushed right up on top of the Celtic full-backs, and he's changed the shape a little bit as well with bringing on Callum Henry to make it more targets up front. And he's just released, the manager's released the players to go and play, and they're doing extremely well. They're causing Celtic problems. Celtic don't have the control of the game that they had in the first half. But in answer to your question, I don't know. It's not me you should be asking, but the change has been made, and the formation is different. The 3 at the back and be given the responsibility to take care of 2 strikers. That isn't much responsibility, surely, is it? It's not much to ask. And the 2 wing-backs are now playing like wingers. And, Derek McInnes has turned the game around in the second half. They've had many inroads into the Celtic defence. They haven't created too many chances, but it's been a much better performance.
Nearly had another brilliant move from Kelly. They really are pushing, just finding space. It's Kilty just inside the box, left-hand side, just a little couple of drags with the bottom of his foot, and then he flashes a left foot cross right across face of goal. Kabamba is just inches away from tucking it into the net, but they get the corner.
What a chance for Ross County, cleared off the line, Richard, from a corner. It's... Who's got on the end of that? It's Alex Jakoviti. He's got on it from the corner. Left foot, he's almost spun it with outside his left foot, I think. Looks like it's creeping in at the back post. It's beat Anik. There's a player on the line and cleared it. It's away for another corner.
United have really done them on the counter. Just a brilliant diagonal. Loris Shankland and a mismatch, you have to say, against Kilty. He just holds him off. He's at the angle. It's a hard angle. Gets a left foot strike, but Doyle does enough to save it.
He does well, Kilty.
Yeah, he does. It was a mismatch, but he put him off as long as he could, Faddy.
We're deep into the final 20 minutes of the matches around the country. In the Championship, still, Ayr United 0, Arbroath 1. Amazingly, that's Michael McKenna's first goal of the season. It came in the 63rd minute. It's looking good for Arbroath to extend their unbeaten run to 8 matches. An astonishing run by Dick Campbell's team. Ayr United 0, Arbroath 1. It's still Morton 2, Dundee 1. Craig McGuffey with a beautiful strike apparently just before half-time to give Morton the lead. Hadn't been too many highlights in the game up till that point. Jason Cummings equalised, scoring for the second successive match for Dundee, but within a couple of minutes Luca Colville got his first of the campaign. Morton 2, Dundee 1. It's Queen of the South 1, Dunfermline 0. Willie Gibson with another fine strike, second successive week he's scored in spectacular fashion. Queens 1, Dunfermline 0, and it's Wraith Rovers 1, Alva Athletic 1. I should have said incidentally in that game at Palmerston, Declan McManus had an early penalty saved by Rowan Ferguson in the Queen's goal. Wraith Rovers 1, Alva 1. Ian Davidson with his second half equaliser. Ennis Cameron had put Alva in front in the first half. In England, it's still West Bromwich Albion 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. It was an early goal by Kyle Barkley, his third of the season. That could well be sending West Brom towards victory to the final 15 minutes there, and could keep Brighton.
Oh, what a chance on his miss. For Hibs. The ball comes into the box as a deflection, first of all, from Martin Boyle cross. And Christian Deutsch actually does really well because he can see the ball's going to spin. And I think it's Lammy that tries to go and get it. The spin misses him. Deutsch is in behind him. He has the strike on goal, and Liam Kelly comes up with a wonderful save. Out in a flash, fully outstretched. It looks as if it hits off his left arm. It spins up in the air. Deutsch goes again for it with a head, and he heads it past the post. What a moment that was. Big opportunity for Hibs to get themselves back into the game, and they've blown it.
Could be a huge moment for Motherwell as they look to finally get back to winning ways. They are unbeaten in the last couple of away matches, actually, and of course did get that draw in Paisley we've touched on. 2-0 up at Easter Road. Jordan Roberts in the first half, and then Devante Cole right at the start of the second, his 6th of the season. He's joint top scorer for Motherwell alongside Tony Watt. It's still Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0. That Olsen Edouard goal continues to separate the sides. Aberdeen much better by the sound of things in the second half, but Celtic heading to what would be their 20th league win of the season. Dundee United took the lead at Rugby Park against Kilmarnock early on. Adrian Sporla's deflected effort, and indeed that advantage was held for some 46 minutes. Zach Medley eventually getting Kilmarnock back on level terms. There have been another couple of chances for them since doing so, and it's still St Mirren 0, Ross County 0. Some excellent saves in that game in Paisley, but no goals as yet. Highlights, remember, of all the matches from the top flight, 7:30 tonight on the BBC Scotland channel, and the 2 remaining fixtures will be played out on Wednesday evening. Livingston against Rangers, Hamilton against St Johnstone. Live coverage as ever on Sportsend. You get that on BBC Radio Scotland. That'll be on digital, 810 medium wave, and online on Wednesday night. It is
Hi, Richard. You know that we have got an equaliser. I've just come back from TV. Yeah, it was Mullen. I was just doing my little report, and I think it was pretty scrappy, but it was Mullen. He's from close in, just get the end on the end of a ball. It was just kind of lobbed into that area and just nodded at home. So Dundee back in level terms and starting to press Morton at the moment. So it's just get better since that goal from Jason Cummings into the second half. The qualities get better, and we've got goals. We've got excitement, and Dundee pressing 4. It was a good save there and end up, but Dundee pressing to get the winner now.
And that goal coming 9 minutes from the end. Remember, last week they lost out 3-2 at home to Queen of the South. It's another goal lead encounter for Dundee this afternoon. 2-2 at Capello. Derek will keep us right up to date on that one. Let us know, should either of those sides grab the lead in that one. Morton, of course, twice in front through McGuffey and Colville. Dundee levelling through Cummings and Mullen. Still,
sorry, Rich, got sub here at Rugby Park, and it's a strange one. The sub, Appery, has been subbed by Nicky Clark, who's come on. I would change shape if I was United. I really would, Rich, because They're not really sure what Kilmarnock are doing in terms of shape and who's to go with who, and they really look as if they're struggling. It's maybe just a match-up job. Sorry, carry on.
Michael McKenna with the first goal of the season. That's for Arbroath. They are still 1-0 up against Ayr United, moving into the final 10 minutes at Somerset Park. Ayr United starting the day in second bottom position. They were 4 points clear of the bottom side, Alloa Athletic. Alloa had led in Kirkcaldy for a fair chunk of that game. Innes Cameron with the opener. Ian Davidson levelling midway through the second half for John Mickelin's promotion chasing side. The other game, of course, is at Palmerston. It's a Willie Gibson goal that has Queen of the South in front, 1-0 against Dunfermline.
We've got a penalty here, Richard, for the home side. It's a challenge. I think it's Colin Queener that's went down. It just looked an awkward one. I'd need to see it again to see who's actually made the foul. I'm too busy taking notes, but he's almost just got his body across. It looked clumsy. The defender's not really in a position to make a challenge.
It is Queener.
Yeah.
Helder makes a challenge.
Just looks a bit clumsy, if anything, guys. You know, it's caught wrong side almost.
So it's a penalty then.
Well, they've been awarded 5 penalties this season, and Jamie McGrath has scored all 5. Ross County have conceded 10. That's an 11th of the season. Only Motherwell have conceded more penalties than County. So are they just about set, Leanne, to take this one?
Yeah, just getting set now. It is Jamie McGrath.
Chance. Oh, big chance here for Aberdeen again.
I'll come back to you, Willie.
Yep, that's a goal. Jamie McGrath puts it away down to the left-hand side of Ross Laidlaw. The keeper goes the wrong way. 1-0 St Mirren.
That's brilliant.
8 minutes to play.
Brilliant, Leanne, because you were a wee bit ahead and I was nervous about that penalty. You just took the nerves out. You could relax.
I seen the smile on Chick's
So John,
face as you said that.
We'll get back to you guys, but let's go to Willie. There was an opportunity there.
Another chance for Aberdeen, Richard. They continue to impress in the second half. Canberra down the right-hand side, hooking the ball across the face for Niall McGinn to strike. It was blocked. It went out for the goal kick. Came off an Aberdeen player eventually, but they continue to make progress in this game. They continue to create opportunities and they continue to cause Celtic problems. So a lot of life still left with only the one goal in it too. Aberdeen have still got a lot to play for in the second half.
Chance for Dundee United.
Still an arrow.
Chance for Dundee United, Rich, right against the run of play. It was just the ball just broke in the box to Harks, and he just took a fresh air swipe at it, and then he got a connection. It trundled through at the goalkeeper. If he caught the first one sweet, I'm sure United would have been in front.
Still a point apiece as it stands. 1-1 Kilmarnock against Dundee United. Motherwell 2-0 up at Easter Road and looking good for the victory there. Robertson Cole with the goals for Motherwell. Edward with a goal for Celtic, 1-0 against Aberdeen. And Jamie McGrath has just gone into double figures for the season. He scored 6 penalties out of 6, 10 goals all told. Chick and of course James McFadden in doing. James is actually doing VAR, but Chick has not been able to help himself from getting involved.
That's the size of it.
He's such an enthusiast. So, boys, your thoughts on the awards and the penalty taken by McGrath?
Well, I think it's a penalty. It's really clumsy. Chick's obviously going to say it's a penalty,
That's
whether it is or not.
There's a bit of debate here actually, because Martin Dowden is alongside me, and TV apparently think that it was a bit soft. So
it's soft, but it's clumsy.
I quote Willie Young again. Excellent penalty.
Again?
Soft. Well, it's a penalty. They may be soft, but it's a penalty.
We've just had a chance for an equaliser there as well, and we've got a head knock. Oh, it's all happening in the last 5 minutes in Paisley.
You've been desperate for something to happen.
It went from 0 to 100 now. I'm struggling to keep up.
Well, it is 1-0 for St Mirren. Again, you can see that decision, the award, the penalty, and all the other highlights from that game tonight on Sports Scene. But it could be a big one for St Mirren. Last thing stood here for a fair chunk of that game. It looked as if Dundee United were joining St Mirren on the 37-point mark. And suddenly, with a goal in Kilmarnock and that goal there in Paisley, St Mirren would be opening up a 4-point advantage with just the 2 games left before the split. Dozzy.
Oh, Dundee United have nearly stolen it again. Just a ball down the left, played in, and McNulty caught it well, and Doyle did well to beat it away at the near post, but a real chance for United to steal it.
Yeah, it does. I mean, to be honest, that second goal right at the start of the second half is, I was going to say killed the game, but it really has put pay to, I think, Hibs getting anything back into it, because they've huffed and puffed. They've had a few opportunities, but Motherwell on the whole, I think, have deserved this victory. It looks like it's going to happen. 4 minutes left. They're 2-0 up. Hibs just haven't been able to do enough in this game.
McGregor, a great strike at goal there, well worked from Celtic down the left-hand side, switched to Kenny, who galloped down the right-hand side. Sorry, switched from the left to the right, and he cut it back to McGregor, who had just popped up from a midfield area, took the little touch, got it onto the left foot, looked to curl it in at the far post, just scraped that far post. Big chance, but it didn't end up in the back of the net.
Raith Rovers have gone in front against Alva Athletic. Heather's off doing her telly report at the moment. We'll get her back. In fact, you're back.
Just come back. Yeah, well, it actually happened right in the middle of the TV report. But yeah, nice goal there from Regan Henry, 83rd minute, to put Raith Rovers 2-1 up. It was a bit of controversy. It looked as if some of the Alva players had actually stopped playing. So a long ball was put through to Henry. Henry ran onto it, and yeah, he cracked it nicely from the left-hand side of the pitch, just inside the box to put them ahead. So they'll be delighted with that, because they've had some fantastic attacking play, and as I said so many times, just thwarted by the kind of endurance and the fantastic defence that Alva have been putting up today.
So Raith Rovers 2, Alva Athletic 1. Raith Rovers, well, they know that the Fairmont are currently trailing to Queen of the South. They would join their 5 rivals on 27 points, and the pair meet in Kirkcaldy next Friday night. Dodsey.
Oh, United again. I mean, they've broken forward. McNulty cuts inside about 18 yards. Looks as if he's just about to pull the trigger. Alan Perkins rushing back, but his tackle puts Lawrence Shanklin in. He's only about 8 yards out. You think he's scoring 1-1. All he has to do is lift it. I've got a great angle here, but Doyle does well.
2v1 for Celtic. Gets Edward on the ball, dribbling through. Oh, he should have set in Sorrow. Sorrow is totally free in the left-hand side. They're only up against Tommy Hoban. He decides to take Tommy Hoban on himself when the easy pass was to Sorrow. Passes it to Sorrow. It's a chance of a shot at goal. He doesn't. He tries to take Hoban on.
He should shoot. He should. When it goes onto his right foot, he should shoot, then he drags it towards Hoban. It opened up, he should go for goal, but you're right, he tries to beat him. He's inside the box as well. I don't know what he's doing.
How many touches does he want to take? Just get it away. And he had support as well with Sorrow too, but big chance for Celtic on the break. Aberdeen have decided to play Ash Taylor as centre forward, so they're going for it. 2 minutes added on, with a little bit of hope of maybe getting an equaliser.
Yeah, seen that before, Willie, towards the end of matches. Celtic with a very dominant first half. Aberdeen, though, on top in the second, but it's the home side still with the advantage as they look to head to a victory. The only consolation for Aberdeen, I guess, will be that scoreline from Easter Road, where it's Hibernian 0, Motherwell 2. Jordan Roberts in the first half, Devante Cole at the start of the second. Graham Alexander's men look set to end their poor recent run to get a win that would give them real breathing space, the bottom part of the table. Kilmarnock ended their long run without a goal. It came after 571 minutes without one. Zek Medley with the equaliser against Dundee United at Rugby Park.
Richard, a little bit of controversy. Ashcroft, Dundee.
We've got another goal here for Raith Rovers. I mean, just a beautiful shot there from Jamie Gullen, who'd come off the bench, took it down the left-hand side of the park, Richard, and struck it. Well, it must have been about 22 yards out or so, but yeah, just flew past